So it is not uncommon to hear young people say that they don't have a direction in life, or they're not sure if what they're currently doing is what they want to pursue long term. Now, I have been in that state for most of my life. When I was a student, for example, I wasn't sure if what I was studying was going to help me in any way. After I graduated, I started working, and I wasn't sure if that job was going to give me the experiences and skills that I require to level up in life or to pursue the direction that I want to pursue. And as a result, I'm second guessing myself at every moment, because I wouldn't commit to the task at hand because I wasn't sure if that is the right task that I should be performing in the first place. I think all these internet gurus on TikTok going on and on about how important it is to be in the right industry and you must leverage your effort and you must choose a scalable endeavor. Just all that chatter has gotten to me to the point where I am second guessing myself all the time. I could be performing a task in the present moment, but I can't commit to it because I'm not sure if that is the right task for me to be performing. And this second guessing is truly corrosive of what it means to live a good life, because you can't really be present with what you're doing. However, recently I have found what seems to be the beginning of a solution to this problem. I've been practicing it for about a week, and there is some early evidence that it's working. So I'd like to share it with you in this video in case you're experiencing something similar. Now, the first thing to note is that when people say that they are directionless in life, it's very rare that these people are actually doing nothing. They're usually doing something. They might be a student and they're not sure if they're taking the right major. They might be somebody who is working a job, but they might feel that they are working a dead-end job. They usually have some sort of routine that they busy their waking hours with. It's actually very rare to come across a person who's directionless, but is actually doing nothing with their lives. Like they're literally just sitting still all day for all of their waking hours, because that's actually very hard to do. I'm not sure if you ever tried meditation before. I tried to meditate for 15 minutes and I struggle with that 15 minutes of stillness. To sit in a chair and do nothing for a whole day, every day for months, is incredibly difficult. You need to be a professional meditator who trains to meditate in cave, to learn to sit still and not suffer. And maybe if you have that kind of training, you'll be able to do it. But most mortals who complain about directionless in lives, they are not professional meditators. They're usually doing something. What they're actually saying is that they're not sure if the things that they're currently doing is what they're meant to be doing, but they're still doing something. So the solution I'm proposing is to continue doing what you have already been doing, but shift the attitude with which you do it. So instead of half-assing whatever you do, you should commit to it fully. And you might say, wow, that's a great idea. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result seems to be the definition of insanity. So I'm not sure how that's going to help. The point I'm making here is a nuanced one. So give me a moment to break it down. If you already have a routine and you're repeating that routine and you're not getting the outcome that you want, you therefore feel stuck, the things that you need to do to get unstuck is probably very difficult, because if it were easy and if it were within your capability to execute, you would have already executed it and you would have already gotten out of being stuck. So the reason you haven't done it already is because it's probably very hard. And you either don't have the capabilities to execute it, or you are not confident in your capabilities to execute it, and you're stuck here. The reason why I think the magic that you're looking for is actually in the things that you're already doing is because due to the fact that you have not fully committed to doing your current tasks well, there are still things to be learned there. They're essentially like low-hanging fruit because you're already doing them and you probably already somewhat know how to do them. They're like mini bosses in video games that you have not beaten. Before you get to the final bosses, the bigger bosses that are cooler to fight, you need to first beat the mini bosses to collect the experiences and get a reward to make yourself stronger so that you are able to face the bigger bosses. And that's why you should take the low-hanging fruit first. I never understand why people ignore the low-hanging fruit that is within their reach while pining for a higher hanging fruit that they are not yet capable of reaching. So the better thing to do is to take the low-hanging fruit first, eat it, absorb the energy and nourishment from the low-hanging fruit that would allow you to go for a higher hanging fruit. So fully commit to the execution of the current opportunity that you have been half-assing, learn to do it well, and thereby increasing your capability capabilities and confidence that will allow you to do the next harder things that you have been pining to do. And lastly, I just want to share how I have used these set of ideas in my own life and share some evidence of how it's working. So I have a job. I've had this job for more than a year now, but all this time I've been pining to start my own business, which is a much more complex endeavor than working on a job. So instead of half-assing my job while daydreaming about starting my own business, I decided at the beginning of this week to just fully commit to doing my job and to actually try my best to do it well. And I'm not doing this for my boss or for my company or to get a promotion. It is to improve my own capabilities to the point where I can actually execute my job well to my own standard. And here's what I learned so far. Firstly, it is harder than I think it is to do my current job well, which is a humbling realization. Because if I don't even know how to do my current job well to my own satisfaction, how am I going to start my own business? And I'm surprised to find that even though it's just been a week, I've already started learning things. Just to be clear, this is a job I've had for a year, and yet the moment I start taking it seriously, I'm starting to learn new things. Things like communication skills, work management, workflow design, and various ways to improve my productivity. And it does not appear that the learning will stop. And so this is where I'm going to be spending my time in this season of my life. So if this video has been helpful to you, consider liking it or leaving a comment so that I can integrate your feedback into the next one.